this example, we're going to configure the UniWire plugin to be able to trigger Stylus RMX in a multi-timbral mode, save that, and then recall it as a preset in Ableton Live. Okay, so first we're going to bring the UniWire plugin into a track, and then I'm going to launch the Receptor remote viewer. And I'm going to call up the Stylus plugin, Stylus RMX. And we'll just go right into the plugin's GUI and load up an 8-channel multi. We'll call up a factory multi, 118 cliffhanger. So for those of you who know Stylus, you can see that we've got 7 different patterns going in Stylus RMX. Now to be able to access all those in Ableton Live, I'm going to set up another 7 MIDI channels. And I'll go ahead and quickly name those by their channel numbers. Now, in the input and output routing assignments, I'm going to send MIDI to that first UniWire plugin in track 1. I'm going to configure this the same for all of my successive MIDI tracks. And then just below that, I'm going to send it to the MIDI channel that I have associated with the plugin. Channels 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, each individual beat is able to be triggered in Ableton Live. And now, to say that as a preset, I'm going to select all the tracks. I'm going to group them in Ableton Live. Command G. I'll name this Stylus Multi. And then all I have to do in my library is just go ahead and drag that in. And here we have it saved as Stylus Multi. And now in a new session, I can just drag that in. And there is my multi. Stylus Multi. Here's my UniWire plugin. And now, through Ableton Live, I can access each individual channel on Stylus RMX running on the Receptor. All right, so we talked a little bit about using the UniWire instrument plugin. Let's go a little bit deeper and show editing inside of the native plugin's own GUI. I've got a UniWire instrument called up right here, and I'm going to go ahead and launch the Receptor remote viewer. And I'll just go ahead and call up a plugin right here. In this case, we're going to call up the Pro 53. We'll load a factory bank. Analog SQ1. So I've got that called up and I can go over and play it. Now if I want to make some edits to that, all I got to do is open up the plugin's native GUI and make some edits. Adjust the release. Add a little bit of an attack. And after having done that, extremely simple to just go ahead and save that. Can even save it inside of its own new bank. And we'll call that Steve's new patch. And that was editing and saving a patch using the plugin's own native GUI with the Receptor remote viewer. Another great benefit of the Receptor is the ability to layer multiple soft synth instances to create that monster synth pad with effects. Of course, you can easily recall that complex plugin chain later directly through the UniWire plugin. To do that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to launch my Receptor remote, and one by one I'm going to start to bring in some sounds here. I'm going to have them all respond to the same MIDI channel so that when everything's loaded up I can just play that back from the piano. Bring in a little acoustic piano. And then once all your patches are loaded up, we've got a 6-channel multi here. In this example, I'm going to show how to configure Ableton Live to play back a multi-timbral instrument that's running on Receptor. We're going to go into our plugin devices in Ableton Live, into our Muse Research folder, and load a UniWire instrument. All right, now usually, most times you'll actually be using it in Send MIDI to All Receptor channels. For the multi-timbral example, we are going to select one channel on the Receptor. By doing this, what's going to happen is that all 16 MIDI channels are going to be sent directly to that one channel strip on the Receptor. After having done that, we're going to go into our Receptor, we're going to load up a plugin, and set up a bunch of different sounds across that plugin. We'll go in, for this example, we'll use Contact. Let's open up that plugin. We'll go to Libraries, and let's start out by bringing in a drum track. We'll load in Funk Kit. And what we're going to do is we're just going to continue to load up some more sounds in here. And let's go ahead back into our Contact, and let's go ahead and load in a bass. Then let's go ahead and load in, I don't know, we'll load in an organ. And let's load in a guitar. All of these are all in Contact. And inside of Ableton Live, each of them resides on their own channel. For example, channel 1, we have our drum. All right. And then we have our bass on channel 2. And then channel 3, we've got our organ. And then on channel 4, we've got our guitar. And then an example in a sequence might be something like this. All right, play that back and continue on. And there we have multi-timbral playback through Ableton Live and the Receptor.